Good morning. Happy Wednesday, everyone. I hope that everyone is having a good time. I hope that your week is going great. And I hope that your week has been productive. So, this is just a little bit of health talk that I want to put out there. I'm pretty sure a lot of us are already aware of some of these things, and it's just a reminder. Pay attention to your health. It's very important. I know when we were growing up, there's always saying that health is wealth. Now I know the true meaning of that. Health is truly wealth. And also, this is the perspective that I have on health. I think that everything that you do in your life hinges on your health. So if you don't take time to pay attention or to take care of your health, everything else is gonna suffer. I think a lot of times we don't truly sit down to say that, or to think deeply about the consequences of not paying attention to our health. And what do I mean by that? A lot of people will say, oh, I'm healthy. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't have a headache. I don't have pain. I don't have anything. But that does not mean that you're healthy. Okay? I want you to get that straight. That a lot of times, hypertension is a silent killer. That's just an example. There's so many things that we take for granted and we say, oh no, I'm healthy. And at the end of the day, we just hear that this person just passed or they just died. And it could have been something that could have been fixed if, that person pays attention to their health. Health is wealth. Everything else is connected to it. For example, your family, especially if you're the breadwinner or you are a husband or you're the head of the household, you have children, you have parents. Those are the reasons why you should pay attention to your health, because there's also the burden that you put on others once you start getting sick. Okay, you start getting all this, what is it called? Kidney failure, heart disease, and all that. Somebody has to take care of you. Somebody has to take care of you. And that alone is putting stress on somebody else. Not even to talk about the money that you're spending. Okay? You could be spending that money. You could be using that money to go on vacation. Okay? A lot of people will say, I don't have time to take time off. I don't have time to go on vacation, to go relax, to take 2 weeks off out of a year or 6 months or so. But at the end of the day, if you get sick, at the end of the day, you're going to go use that money. You will use that money to pay the doctors. Doctor has to examine you and give you a diagnosis. And they have to do proper assessment. They have to do a proper, diagnosis. So I want us to start putting that in our minds that health is very important. Okay? A lot of people will say, oh yeah, my job. If I don't do it, if I don't go there, I'm not saying don't go to your job. And I'm not saying don't do what you're supposed to do at your job. But if you die today, somebody else will take your place tomorrow. Okay? If you don't know where to start, you need to learn how to use Google to your advantage. Okay, we live in the age of technology now that you can find a lot of information. I find information a lot on Google, okay, even as a healthcare professional. But I just don't take information from any website, okay? A rule of thumb is that if it's coming from a university, so the website ends in ed.edu, or it's from a government agency, or from studies, research or whatever. Yeah, that's where you want to get your information from. You just don't want to get your information from somebody that's just forwarding you information that, some Chinese medicine that's been around for 200 years, but it's not backed by science. I'm not saying those things don't work. Some of them work, but I'm just saying that don't take the risk, okay? If there's something bothering you, your body has a way of telling you that something is wrong. If something is wrong, even if it's a headache, don't just take, headache medication. Try to find what's, especially if it's something that's reoccurring. You want to go and check with the doctor what's going on. Let them do their indicators that the doctors can look at to come up with proper diagnosis. They can check your vital signs, they can do blood tests. Doctors know, when they see some things, or depending on your symptoms that you tell them, they know how to, order some of these tests to come up with, proper diagnosis. So that's where I want to start from. And for people who are close to me, who know me, they know that I'm very passionate about healthy living. I'm passionate about fitness, okay, exercising and stuff like that. And that's what my background is in healthcare. I work in what we call physical medicine and rehab, what we call physiotherapy back home in Nigeria. So I'm part of that team. One of the things that I'm really passionate about, again, is prevention. Wellness is one of the things that I'm very passionate about. I feel like, God has given us a lot of knowledge. God has given us a lot of foods and herbs. And herbs, I'm not saying that's something that's concocted up somewhere. I'm talking about, just natural leaves and roots and, stuff that we have, like, garlic, we have ginger, we have honey, we have, those things, if we use them properly, and even with the foods that we eat, like, vegetables, leafy greens, whole grain, eating stuff that are, so to say, organic, like the way nature intends it to be. I feel like those things can help us heal our body. Medications are not created to cure you. They're created to keep you alive longer. Okay, it's just more of, let's just manage this disease. Okay, once we cross that threshold, I had a professor when I was going through my course. She told us, she said, look, by the end of the day, once you start having heart disease and your kidneys fail and, your organs start to fail, there's no going back. It's like we can try to fix it. It's more like let's just sustain this person for a little longer. That's what it is. So the first thing that you want to do is, while you have your health, and I'm assuming that everybody is healthy, everybody is well, that you want to pay attention. Even if you already have the chronic disease, let's say, for example, you have diabetes. You can go on Google and look for natural ways to reduce or to manage your diabetes. Not to say that you should stop what the doctor is prescribing to you or what the recommendation of the doctor is, but I'm just saying that you yourself, through food, through exercise, through, natural ways, you can help, heal your body, because our food is supposed to nourish our body. It's not just like for us to just eat and just eat for the sake of, yes, you're supposed to enjoy your food, but at the same time, food is supposed to nourish your body. Food is supposed to help heal your body. Your body has the ability to be able to heal itself. So I'm just going to go through some stuff that I think are very important. Like I said earlier on, I said that, I mentioned that my background is more in physical medicine and rehab, meaning that, I work in what we call physiotherapy back in Nigeria. My title, my profession is called occupational therapy. I'm an occupational therapist. I have, bachelor's in health sciences and master's in occupational therapy. So these are the things that we try, apart from the physical part. These are the things that we advise our patients on. Okay, so food. I'm gonna start with food. I was already talking about food. Try to eat food that are whole foods. A lot of fruits, vegetables, lean protein. What do I mean by lean protein? Fish. Try to stay away from farmed fish. Okay, try to do wild caught. The ones that are in the ocean. That are caught. Try to stay away from farmed. Eat a lot of nuts, seeds. Like what is it called? Cashew and almonds. Almonds is a really good one. A lot. If you go on Google and you just type healthy nuts, healthy seeds, stuff like that. It's just a lot of these things you have to do the homework yourself, because sometimes, the healthcare professionals, they don't have time to educate you extensively. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to be able to get on the internet and be able to find stuff on your own. You need to take charge of your own health, because it's very important. You want to live long for your children. You want to be there for your wife. You yourself, you want to feel good about yourself. Also, food portion is very important too. The amount of food that you eat. You want to reduce your starch, carbohydrates. You don't want to eat a lot of carbohydrates. You want to eat just a little bit of it. And don't eat a lot of processed foods. They're not good for you. We have this habit of whoever is drinking Fanta, Coke, or juice. Juice. Who would have thought that juice? I grew up drinking juice, okay? Things like that. You want to eat real fruits, and if you can juice your own fruits, extract stuff from it, because a lot of times when we buy juice, they already added all kinds of chemicals to it. They even add sugar to it. And that's another thing. You want to stay away from sugar. A lot of sugar is bad. It's bad for you. So those are the things that we need to put in mind, the way nature intends it. So if you go to the farmer and the farmer just harvested rice, that's the kind of rice you should be eating. You shouldn't be eating the ones that's already processed and bleached and all the nutrients are gone. You want fresh stuff. And if you cannot get it, I understand, but you just gotta try. I want to talk about another thing, which is smoking and drinking. Okay, there's a lot of people who smoke. There's a lot of people who are exposed to secondhand smoking, and there's vaping that's going on right now. A lot of people think that vaping is, safer. Hookah, it's. I mean, hey, look. Once in a while, you go out, you hang out with your friends. Maybe it won't have that bad effect on you, but you want to try as much as possible to minimize your exposure to smokes, to nicotine, to smoking is really bad for your health, and it can lead to death. It can lead to cancer. Sleep is very important. Okay, we don't talk enough about about sleep. A lot of times we've been conditioned to think that if you sleep too much, something is wrong with you. And of course it could be an indicator that something is wrong if you're sleeping too much. But I feel like if someone is getting 7-8 hours of sleep, people tend to look at them like, oh yeah, why are you sleeping in? But we need sleep, because that's where a lot of our stuff in our body, they start to reset. They start to heal. Your brain, that's where it starts resetting. That's where when you sleep is when a lot of the work in your brain, like solidifying all the information that you acquired during the day and all of that good. There's a lot that's going on when you're sleeping. So you want to pay attention to your sleep. Are you sleeping okay? And if you're not, get help. You can go to the doctor. To me, I feel like there's no amount of money that I spend on my health when it comes to prevention and wellness that's too much. Okay? I will spend anything to buy real food, good food that I can put in my body that I know is good for me, is healthy, and it will nourish my body, it will help my body to heal. And we're talking about, vegetables, leafy greens, fruits. We're talking about whole grains. If you don't know what those things mean, you can go on Google and say, examples of whole grains that I can eat that's healthy for me. You find all this information. Use technology to your advantage. So sleeping is very, 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 very important. Most adults need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. And children, they require 10 to 16 hours for ages 5 and younger, including naps. So that includes naps. And from ages 6 to 12, they need about 9 to 12 hours of sleep a day. And ages 13 to 18, they need about 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Actually, there's been a lot of talk in the environment where I live right now, in the country where I live right now, where kids are being given a lot of homework, and then they go to sleep. They go to school all day, and then they get home, and then they start homework again into late night. So there's a conversation that's going on right now saying, hey, look, kids need to be kids. Kids need sleep. Kids need to play. So they don't need a lot of stuff when they're growing up, because adequate sleep, like I mentioned earlier, it promotes healing. It improves brain function. When you sleep better, you can perform better. You can go to work and be your best and be like, oh yeah, I got this. When you have good night's sleep, you wake up the following morning and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to tackle the day. And it reduces the risk of you getting chronic diseases, okay? It reduces your chances of getting diabetes, hypertension. And one thing, I want to mention one thing real quick. I will hear people say, when I talk to people sometimes, I will hear people say, oh yeah, this person, they used to work out a lot, or they used to, eat healthy, and they used to be this, and oh yeah, they ended up having a stroke or a heart attack or something. Yes, that happens sometimes. But also, we don't know the whole story for that person, okay? A lot of times, there's some underlying, as a matter of fact, it could even be because of that. That's why they started doing all these things like, eating healthy and being active. Okay, maybe they already knew something was wrong. Maybe it was just late for them to start doing those things. So all of these things that we're talking about, they reduce your chances of getting chronic disease. It's not a bulletproof. It's not like a silver bullet that, oh yeah, boom, one thing, you do it, you live for forever, you live till 1,000 years. No, what we're saying is, when you do those little things, and it's just those little things that add up to help, and there's no one thing that can cure everything. Forget about it. Don't let anybody bamboozle you. I'll sell you this machine, and it helps you cure 300 things, or you can check for 300 things. No, don't fall into all of that. Get proper doctor consultation that can properly examine you, okay, and give you a correct diagnosis. Okay, whether you want to take medication for it or not, it's a different case, but you want to get proper diagnosis. The reason why I keep saying this is because I hear this all the time, where people will let a nurse, not even a registered nurse, not even a certified nurse, I'm talking about somebody in their neighborhood, they'll go to that person to diagnose them and to start treating them without proper diagnosis. It's happened to me. It killed my dad. So let's be real here. Okay? My dad was sick. I kept saying, look, what is wrong? This guy kept telling me, oh, a doctor is already coming to the house to treat me. Only to find out later that this person was a nurse. So he didn't even properly diagnose my dad. They didn't do no test. They didn't do any test at all. He just started giving my dad medication, giving my dad injections, giving my dad drips. Only when it was at the end, when it was too late, that's when we now found out that there was something totally wrong with my dad, that it was too late for him at that point. And that's why I've always been passionate about this, but that just gave me another boost to say, look, you have to pay attention and go through proper channel. I know sometimes the money, but at the same time, hey, look, it's your health. If you want to live in good health and you want to be better, to be there for your family, to be there for your children and live long, you want to pay attention to these things. The next thing is managing your weight. Again, you have to go to a healthcare professional. You have to let them tell you what's your ideal weight. What weight should you be carrying in your body? And weight is basically adipose tissue, which we call fat. You need some fat. You need good fat. We have good fat, we have bad fat. Okay? But you need more of the good fat than the bad one. And if you have excess fat in your body, that's not good. Especially if you have fat in your midsection, in your belly, that's not good. Those are things that studies have showed us are linked to chronic diseases like hypertension, diabetes. So you need to consult a healthcare professional to say, hey, look, what's my ideal weight? Okay? And how can you manage your weight? By eating healthy, by eating all the things that we already talked about. A lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, a lot of you have to be careful with fruits too, because some fruits are very, very high in sugar content. So you want to Google it and say, what fruits are good for me? What are the best fruits to eat? Vegetables, okay? If you have to eat grain, make sure it's whole grain. You can Google those. You have to do some homework for yourself. It amazes me that we carry the encyclopedia in our hands, those little smartphones. They are a lifesaver. Everybody should be knowledgeable, but we've been conditioned that our smartphone is only used for WhatsApp, it's only used for Facebook, it's only used for TikTok. No, that's not what it is. That's not what it is. We're supposed to use it to our advantage, okay? Manage your weight. Make sure your weight is an ideal weight, okay? It has a lot of benefits, okay? You want there's something that we call BMI, okay? You want your BMI, it's called body mass index, okay? You can also look that up. It has to be less than 25. That number has to be less than 25, okay? And also you don't want that number to be too low, because then it could also, there's something we call overweight, obese, and there's also something we call underweight. Okay, you can also be underweight. That's not good at all. And when I mentioned fat earlier on, some fat is good. You need some fat in your body, because some hormones in your body, for you to be able, like testosterone as men, we need fat to be able to produce that in our body. Okay, so some fat is good. You just gotta educate yourself. You can't rely on somebody to spoon feed you. For example, if I went to the doctor and the doctor says your hemoglobin level is high, or I did your blood count and I did a blood test and your blood count is so and so, I will go home and Google it. What does that mean? What are the causes? How can I improve that? Even though I will still ask my doctor, but there are ways that you yourself, you can improve your own health. Okay, it's very important. Cholesterol, I already mentioned cholesterol. So I said that's why I was talking about fat. We have good fat, we have bad fat. We have the LDL, we have the HDL. Okay, HDL is good, but LDL is bad. You can talk to your healthcare professionals about that. Okay, those are indicators that can show that you're prone to having a heart disease or something. Okay, you also already touched on the next one that I'm going to talk about, blood sugar. You need to monitor your blood sugar, okay? Because most of the food that we eat is turned into glucose, which is just another word for sugar, okay? Our bodies use this glucose, this blood sugar. They use it for energy, and over time, if you keep having high levels of blood sugar, it can damage your heart, it can damage your kidneys, it can damage your eyes, okay, and the nerve, and that's where you have people having diabetes and having neuropathy, and all kinds of stuff can come from you not just paying attention to your health. And number one thing is food. People talk about exercise all the time. Exercise is good. I'm gonna get to that too. Exercise is good, but I'm saying that, hey, look, you have to pay attention what you put into your body. Okay, there's a new study that came out that says that there's no level of alcohol that's actually safe for you. That's shocking. Okay, I know social drinking, to me, I feel like everything in moderation. Okay, but I always want to do the good more than, I'll say, like, I will eat healthy, exercise 80% of the time of the days. And then 20% is like, okay, I want to enjoy with my family. I want to go out with my friends. We, here and there, we drink a glass of wine. We drink, something, alcoholic. Yeah, it's fine. But if you keep doing it every day, you smoke every day, you drink every day, and it's like there's no stopping, you're gradually putting a lot of stress on your body, on your system, on your organs. Okay, it's very important that we educate ourselves on these things. Okay, also your blood pressure. Okay, keeping your blood pressure within limits. Okay, within range. Okay, there's what we call the normal range, there's what we call the abnormal. Okay, and you can have low blood pressure, which we call hypertension. You can have high blood pressure. Okay, how do you know these things? By going to your doctor. You have to go to your doctor. They need to check your blood pressure. They have to make sure your heart rate is good. This is how many times your heart rate, how many times is your heart beating per minute. Okay, if it's too high, it may be something is wrong. If it's too low, it could be that something is wrong. It's also wrong. Okay, so a lot of times these little things we need to pay attention to. We need to start paying attention to them if you're not already paying attention to it. Okay, so you have to make sure that your blood pressure is within range. Okay, and last but not the least is activity. Okay, it's suggested that each adult should get about 2.5 hours of moderate physical activity per week. So if we say 2.5 hours, that's 60 plus 60, that's 120, right? 120 plus 30, that's 150. So that means 150 minutes of physical activity. We're talking about moderate. Moderate means that if you're doing it and you're able to talk to someone on the phone, when you're talking on the phone, if you're doing that activity and you're able to talk to someone on the phone, then you're not doing it. Then it means that you're not doing it. It means you're not doing it right. So if you're talking on the phone with someone and you're finding it difficult to talk to that person while you're doing that physical activity, then that means you're doing it right. And I can give you some examples of physical activities that you can do. A lot of times we see all these people on social media, the fitness gurus, it's like they're lifting weights, myself included. Some people have told me before that, you are intimidating us. I don't want you to get intimidated by those people. That's just a form, that's just a way of getting your physical activity. There's so many other ways that you can get your physical activities, and I'm gonna give you some examples. Okay, so physical activities, let me get to it. All right, so here they're talking about 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity. Okay, it could be water aerobics, it could be dancing, social dancing. Okay, so if we divide 150 by, so meaning that 150 by 5 days, because you need some days to rest too. You can't just be exercising every day. Okay, you want to have at least, so 150 by 5. What is 150 by 5? I feel like it's about 30 minutes a day. 150. My math is really bad. That's why I failed math in WAEC. So 150 divided by 5. Yeah, that's 30. Finally I got it. Sure. So that's 30. So about 30 minutes of moderate, aerobic activity, or you can do 75 minutes of vigorous aerobic activity. What are those? Okay, I'm talking about 75 minutes per week now. And what are those? We're talking about running, we're talking about swimming, we're talking about jumping rope. Okay, so you don't have to be on the treadmill, you don't have to be on the elliptical, you don't have to be at the gym going like this, lifting heavy weights. No. Okay, those are good ways to get your exercise too. Okay, but there are other ways that you can do that. And if you cannot go to the gym, if you have money to go to the gym, go to the gym. Get you a personal trainer that can teach you where to start, how to do these exercises properly. Because if you don't do them properly, you will injure yourself. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if you don't have money to go to the gym, go on Google or YouTube, type beginner home exercise. Okay, start from 5 minutes every day. Increase it to 10 minutes, increase it to 15 minutes, increase it to 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That's how and you have to be consistent. You have to be disciplined. There's someone that told me something about discipline the other time. He said, discipline is doing what you have to do even though it's not convenient. It means that you know that this thing, I have to do it because it's for my own benefit. But I know it's not convenient, but I have to do it. Why? Because I know in the long run, I'm going to look good, I'm going to feel good, I'm going to live a healthy life, okay? A good life, okay? So, lifting weight is also important. Some kind of resistance is good, not heavy weights, but some kind of resistance on your, like push up, pull up, stuff like that. They're good for your muscles because the older we get, we are getting older. The older we get, the more muscle mass we lose. Okay? Our muscle fibers, they start withering away. So we need to slow it down by lifting, by providing some kind of resistance to our muscles. Our joints also, they start getting weaker. They start deteriorating. So we need some kind of resistance to keep them from getting bad. Okay, I recommend functional exercises. If you go on Google too, or you go on YouTube, you can find them. Functional exercises. They mimic the everyday movements that you do. Okay, to help you stay healthy, to prevent to prevent injuries. So the essence of being active is, there's a lot of us that what is it called now? Technology is bad for, because back in the days, I remember when we were all in high school, we would trek maybe miles from our house to the school to the farm, people that farmed. we were always active, we were always doing something. But now that everybody has chopped money, people, we have millionaires in our, you know, if not billionaires, in our midst now that, we now give everything to technology to do for us. We're not as active as we used to be anymore. And that's detrimental to our health. We need to start being active, okay? If you're going somewhere, if it's not more than 1 mile, the weather is good, it's safe to do so, just walk there. You're going to Mama Nkechi's house, and it's like about half a mile away from your house. Walk there instead of driving or calling Uber or taking Okada. Unless, you have to do what you have to do sometimes. You're pressed for time and you just need to get there on time, or you're weak, you can't really walk, whatever. Yeah, I get that. But those are little ways that we can start incorporating things. And there's no just one thing, like I mentioned earlier, there's no just one thing that keeps you healthy. It's a combination of all these things that get you to that place of health, to that place of wellness. And I don't want you to look at, health as a destination. It's a process. It's an ongoing thing. Wellness is an ongoing thing. Prevention is an ongoing thing. You have to do it. You have to practice it every day. And Rome was not built in a day. You don't get there in one day. You don't get there today and be like, oh, I just want to know everything. No. Little by little, one thing, learn about your food. Maybe this month you can set a goal and be like, I want to learn about foods. I want to know what the healthy choices that are out there that I can lay my hands on to change my diet. And then next month you can be like, okay, I want to learn about exercising. How can I get active? What are different ways that I can use to get active? Okay, you don't have to go to the gym. You don't need any fancy exercise equipment. You need to go on YouTube and just Google and say, hey, look, what exercises can I do? So those are little ways that we can incorporate healthy living, healthy lifestyle into our day-to-day life. So I hope I have helped someone, or I have helped in reminding us again to do what we need to do, because we're not getting younger. The older you get, the more you actually need these things. You need to pay attention to your health more, because life expectancy in our country is low. We need to do better. Okay, we also know that government policies and access to care and infrastructures and all of that, they play a role in how long you live as well. But at the same time, we can't wait for the government to do all those things, for them to start doing all those things before we start, doing our own part. Let's do what we can, to stay healthy. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'll answer your question to the best of my knowledge. Remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a health enthusiast, but I also went through some training, and on a personal level, I got very interested and passionate about healthy living and how we can prevent diseases and stuff like that. Because when I went through school, for some reason, in my head, it just clicked, and I'm just like, oh my God, taking all these classes, anatomy and physiology, microbiology, nutrition class, and all that, it just clicked. And I'm just like, wow, why are we not doing more of prevention and wellness and all that good stuff? Because I feel like, that's where we need to be. That's what we need to be doing. We don't need to get to the disease part, because once you get the disease, it takes the grace of God. And I trust the doctors. God put them on earth for us, and they are amazing. They are awesome. But at the same time, there's a limit to what they can do. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope to hear from you very soon. All right, take care. Enjoy the rest of your week and enjoy the weekend. For people who are going to the reunion party, enjoy yourself, have fun. Have fun for those of us that are not going to be there. Okay? Cheers. Bye.